Today we have with us Kemi Agbebi. She's also known as KSA. She is a multi-potentialite. She is an instrumental force at the crossroads of career, social impact, coaching, and spirituality. Holds an MBA from West Texas A&M University in the U.S., a bachelor's in pharmacy from the University of Lagos in Nigeria. And over the years, she's offered a lot of pro bono consulting services to SMEs, startups, prioritizing scale and expansion. She's also done a lot in the field of mental health and even runs a lot of community forums online where they have discussions. Today, we're talking about addressing stigma. Mental health and stigma. A very big deal, very huge conversation. But I have to say, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Titi. It's a pleasure to be here.
I know you've worked in many ways in many different areas, but addressing this issue of stigma, it's a big deal because it affects people not just at work, it affects them in school, affects them in their homes, with their families. But how do we even identify that someone is in an area or community or space where they are being stigmatized? How do you know?
Thank you very much for that question, and it's great to be here. I think I'd like to anchor my conversation and response to that question from this angle. Okay. First is that we need to accept the fact that life can be really tough and hard sometimes.
Okay.
And it's okay to seek help and therapy and support. Okay. And there should be no stigma around it. It's like when you have malaria or you have typhoid, you go for therapy, you go to the doctor, right? So why do people have to stigmatize, in quotes, people that are seeking mental health therapy or seeking therapy? Okay, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I have a sort of medical background, and I see how the usual response when people are sick around you, you want to be emotional, you want to even support them, even though you don't really know them from nowhere. But when you say it's mental health, they're like, how can a fine woman like you be having mental health? You know, because it doesn't really come up with symptoms like headache or body pain or fever, you know. So it's difficult to be able to point out, you know, that, oh, this person's actually really suffering deep within. But I've seen that some of the biggest and toughest places that people can be is to actually have an issue with their mental health, coming from a place where I've been able to counsel and offer support to suicidal people, victims, and many of them coming back to say, thank you for giving me the privilege to still be alive. You know, I've not found anything else more fulfilling and rewarding. And myself, I've had my fair share of really tough times, right? Challenges where I had to like pretty much go through therapy. And now that I sit in the capacity to actually offer to people, I don't think I found anything else more fulfilling other than being a mother to my 3 beautiful daughters. Of course. Yeah. So yeah, back to your question about stigma. Now that I've cleared the hair about, there's no reason why anybody should feel stigmatized. We don't have perfect lives. Imperfection is part of the human nature. People need to accept that. I might look all beautiful, you know, just like Titi does right now, but you have no idea of exactly what is going on inside, right? Yeah, you know, and the media has not made it any better anyways, because people will post their best pictures. So if I take 10 pictures, I have 2 imperfect ones, I'm going to post my best picture, right? Yeah. And then people are like, oh my God, I wish I was this beautiful. But then I have kept away like 2 or 3 other imperfect pictures that you probably wouldn't like. And it's the same thing with reality. We always like to put our best foot forward. Cover everything you're hiding within with makeup and all of those things, you know. So, and then you come out with your best self. And I remember that on one occasion, I'd had to counsel a former most beautiful girl in Nigeria, right? And she didn't feel beautiful. She won most beautiful girl in Nigeria a couple of years ago.
She was literally told that she's the most beautiful girl in Nigeria.
She won the competition. The pageant, the pageant, she did. And she didn't feel beautiful. Wow. She reached out privately to me, and I went on her page, and I see all the comments, oh my God, this is the most beautiful girl, you know? Yeah. And she's beautiful, but she doesn't feel beautiful. You see, one of the things I've realized is that it doesn't matter how you feel about yourself. It's more important than what people think about you,
Okay.
right? So engaging now, realizing that this was an issue from way back as a child and just going back to a background.
Okay, so I was going to say that a lot of mental health therapists, consultants, coaches have talked about the fact that a lot of the things we deal with today are as a result of things we experienced when growing up.
Of course.
So now, as a parent, I've made it like a point to make sure I tell my daughters that they are beautiful.
Awesome.
Now, some people are of the school of thought that, you know, telling a child that they are brilliant when they are not might be, you know, giving them false, I don't know, false image, yes. Or, so I'm all about the positive affirmations and all that, but some people are thinking if you fail a particular class, you failed, you know, but not on the page of, oh, don't worry, you didn't fail. You didn't fail in Jesus' name. You know, they go that deep.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering about this, how people grow up and how it has affected their mental health today.
Mm-hmm. Accurate. You see, one thing I tell my children, I have 3 girls, is, and which is also very beneficial to adults, you know, when I'm offering therapy to people, is how to separate the person from the experiences.
Okay.
That you fail at a course does not make you a failure. Failure is an experience that is outside of you.
Okay.
When you unify the person and the experience together, then you tag it as, I'm a failure, I cannot do anything, all right? So with my daughter, if he were ever to fail, well, my kids are super smart.
Yeah.
But then I say, okay, you failed at this, right? But that doesn't make you a failure.
Okay.
So my positivity is tied to him or her,
okay.
Because, again, how you feel about yourself is more important than the things that happen
around
to you.
you.
So yes, the course you feel that is a
Yes.
separate experience. How do we deal with this experience separate from you?
Yeah.
So you focus, the positivity has to be going to the child. And yes, I agree with you that many of the times our lives, our patterns, our perception is shaped by the things that we're exposed to as children, either with words, because a child picks a lot from what they hear and what they see.
Yeah.
Okay, and what they see, right? So usually you find a child at age 6. Many of the sexually abused people, are engaged. They were exposed at age 6.
Wow.
But they can remember that because I feel like at age 6, a child begins to be very conscious, you know, about what is exactly is happening to them. So yeah, truly from a young age, and then they keep taking it back. Like, for example, me, right? Myself.
Yeah.
I remember literally everything that's happened to me from age 6, you know, so just to round up on that, yeah, truly, all of you, whatever you're perceiving now as whether success or failure, might have been as a result of things that you picked up from.
Okay. Honestly, KSA, I wish we could continue on this. Yeah. We've given a lot of people stuff to think about right now, and probably there are some questions they might have. Please use our hashtag WakeUp Nigeria on TVC, and of course, make sure you tag us, WakeUp Nigeria TVCE. And as soon as you do, we'll be taking those questions, giving them to KSA. Maybe she will be able to answer them when she comes back next week. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We just touched on it. We haven't gone deep enough. We will continue next week.
Sure.
All right, then. Okay, Wake Up Nigeria continues. There is still quite a bit more. Let's take a break.